Hello, for those of you who do not know me, I'm Renee, also known as Miss HG Mercury from the Sunshine Coast Pinup School. I'm a vintage stylist and a pinup photographer and a huge book nerd, and today I'm going to be going through my favourite historical fiction books, and they're actually all from strong female Australian writers. So let's go. So when I had the idea for this video, I started to pull these books from my bookshelf, and I realized they actually all still have a common theme. So not only are they written by female Australian writers, they are also all set in 1940s, so either during the war or a post-war, and they all have strong female protagonists, and it has a common theme of don't judge a book by its cover. So I think that's kind of might be the style of book that I like to read, but we will start, I guess, with the one on the top. Don't knock my camera. All right, so we'll start with the Miss Betty Jones Lady Vigilante crime series. This is written by Hayley Camille, who is, I hope I said Hayley Camille, yeah, who is actually a Sunshine Coast author. I came across her work when she started following the Pinup School, and these were originally little like mini short stories that were released via ebook, Kindle, I believe, just in little episodes almost. So it's basically chapter by chapter. I am old school, obviously, and I like a book to read. I like to flick through a page. So I've never actually gotten into ebooks and Kindles before. So when I always wanted to read this, the little tagline is Avon calling. So when she announced that they were going to be in a hard copy, I instantly snapped them up. So Miss Betty Jones, this is set in New York in the 1940s during the war, and Miss Betty Jones is an Avon lady by day, picture perfect mother of two and housewife by day, and crime boss killing vigilante at night. She has like superpowers, and her weapon of choice is a knife which she holds in a garter underneath her dress. So I'm a little bit influenced by Miss Betty Jones at the moment when I picked this dress out for this video. But yeah, awesome book, depth of character, so good, such good writing, and yeah, it's just really good to see someone kick butt in such a way, and like it's such a good story. I'm not just saying such a good, but this was obviously I bought them directly from Hayley, and she signed it for me, but like look at these little thing, it's just like just housewife apron, also stabbing. I love it. So yeah, it's don't judge a book by its cover. Most people don't know that she is what she does in the shadows, essentially. And yeah, a two-part series. I believe there may be more, the way that the story kind of left off on a little bit, not like a cliffhanger, but a hint that maybe she might be writing some more. So I've also got Hayley's other books on my Goodreads list that I would like to read. But yeah, awesome writer, Sunshine Coast, local. You can get these in just chapter by chapter if you want to get the Kindle version, or you can get them in a hard copy direct from her website, which I will leave links below. And then we have another series. So this is the Billy Walker series from Tara Moss. Now, I first heard of Tara Moss in the pinup and vintage world. I think her blog on how she styled a pin curl set through a few days was actually one of the first like vloggy blogs that I looked at, and she is an awesome author. I have my favorite, if I have to say like any book series, if you ever want to read, it would be her Mac Vanderwall book series, and that is a strong female protagonist just kicking butt and going against any gender roles and stuff like that, and that is a really good one. And then when she announced that she was doing this is set in Sydney in 1946, when she said that she was announced this book, I'm like, oh, so it's like what I love about that Mercady series, but it's in vintage. So, and knowing Tara Moss and what great enthusiast she is within the vintage community, I knew that the historical accuracy and the facts and little details that she would put into these books, I knew it would just be an amazing read. So this is the original Australian release of the book number 1 of the Billy Walker mystery, and it's Dead Man's Switch. It got when it got released to America, it got renamed into The War Widow, which I'll put that cover there with the beautiful Ida on it. So this is the original Australian release, and so obviously if you wanted to get it, it'd be The War Widow. And then this is book 2, The Ghosts of Paris, with Ida on top. So she's just like she is Billy Walker personified. So these are great books I look forward to. I don't know, the Max series was 6 parts, so I don't know if there's going to be that many more, but it feels like Billy Walker's story is not yet finished. So she's after the war, which is a really good thing. So after the war, she has wanted all the women, ended up after the war going straight back into the kitchen, and she had taken over her dad's what are they called? Private investigator firm, and she wants to continue that. And just like little things, like she drives a car that she loves to drive, which she gets lots of looks because she's driving a car, which normally the women wouldn't do as often back in that day. So yeah, set in Sydney, the first book, and then obviously she goes overseas for this one. But yeah, I'd been to some of the places that this book is set in, so that's always really fun. And I will read every single book by Tara Moss. It's all on my list. And yes, awesome author. Follow her. She is gorgeous. And read her books. Then we have something a little bit local as well. So this is The Code Breakers by Ali Sinclair. I do have a few more of Ali's books on my Goodreads list as well. This is based in Brisbane. And based in Brisbane in 1943, and I actually came across this book after watching the movie, and I cannot remember the name of it, about the dude that made the code breaking machine thing. And oh my god, if I can remember it, I will put it here. And then basically the next day I saw this in the bookshop, and I was just like, ooh, instantly drawn to the cover. But don't judge a book by its cover, but ooh, what is that? The Code Breakers. And then I read on the back 1943 Brisbane. And I like to think that I am, after being in vintage and pinup and loving this style and era and all things history, I like to think that I was quite well versed in World War II history. But of course, I'm in Australia, and we get a lot of American and English history lessons in school, and I didn't actually realize how close the Japanese came to Australian shores. So this is based in Brisbane. I believe it was in Chermside, I could be mistaken. And it was a group of women. They were called the Garage Girls, and this is actually based on a true story. So I will try and find the link to the interview that Ali did with one of the original ladies. So they were called the Garage Girls, and they would just go into an unassuming building garage and sit in there, and they would be breaking the code and translating and all of that with the code that the Japanese were sending in the Pacific in order to help our Aussie dudes out there fighting. So yeah, awesome. Don't judge a book by its cover. These women just look like they were just going off to a normal job, but they were very instrumental in Australia's war efforts in the time. So, and I fell in love with Ali's writing from this, and yeah, I've got her others. There's some of them there that I've got on my list, Burning Fields and Starlight Creek. So yes, common theme. Obviously, I love my strong female wiggity camera. I love my strong female leads, and I love, 1940s, 1950s, and the fact that it's an Australian author, Australian female author, is so much more awesome. So I will leave a link to these books and a few more that I have too. This is just like my highlighting the Aussie gals, but there is a lot more books that I've read that I love, that I highly recommend if you love historical fiction, and particularly from the 1940s to the 1960s era. So I hope that wasn't too rambly. I hope that maybe you have found an author or a book that you want to pick up and start reading. And if you have any books within that same genre or you think that I might like, please comment below and let me know. I'm constantly adding to my Goodreads list. If you don't have Goodreads, get Goodreads. This is not sponsored, but get Goodreads. It's an awesome app. And you can just keep track of everything that you want to read, everything that you have read, and it will suggest things to you. Like my reading list is completely vintage and historical fiction, and then complete nerd. If you want me to do a video on my nerd out books, I was a science journalist and a chemist in another life, so if you want me to do a video about that, just let me know. And yeah, happy reading and learning. And well, that's one of the things I love about historical fiction, is I normally always learn a little detail or learn something about history. Like with the code breakers, I didn't realize about the Brisbane line. I did know that the Japanese came to Darwin, but I didn't realize they came that close to basically where I live now. So yeah, I love learning something new in a fiction genre. So yeah, thank you, and sorry for my little book nerdiness.